following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Television, radio, internet, the world.
Celebrating 12 years on the air and voted 2009 Broadcast Show of the Year. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com, along with the Hall of Famer, David Hero. I'm the Cause on a snowy evening here in Milwaukee. David, how are you?
You know what? This night couldn't be any better.
Why is that?
Well, because our celebration tonight of Alberto Del Rio and Kevin Nash and Hurricane Shane Helms will be uninterrupted. There'll be no Miz talk, no Damian Nelson ridiculous banter. You know, finally. I mean, even though Damian Nelson is the 2010 Wrestling Radio Award Host of the Year, congratulations, Damian Nelson.
We will have him on in a moment.
Really?
Yes, we will.
Come on.
We will.
It's going to be a peaceful... You and I,
He
it'll
deserves
be easy.
it, man. He deserves it. Let's set the table for you this morning. First of all, the phone numbers.
This morning?
This afternoon, this morning in the UK.
Yes.
800-990-3776 locally here in Milwaukee, 414-276-3776. You can head over to pwrshow.com you can send in your emails and your text. You can go to the chatmosphere and talk amongst yourselves. Later on in the program, Kevin Nash will be joining us.
Fresh off the Royal Rumble. No. Diesel.
Shane Helms will be joining us. It's an amazing program. It's going to be this evening.
See what gets done when Nelson's not around? Things are so much smoother. I mean, the past couple of weeks we've been trying to get Kevin Nash on.
That's right, but we were able to do it. But before we get to any of that, it is my pleasure to bring on right now award-winning host of the year.
Really?
He is Damian Nelson. Damian.
Cause that has to it. Coming here from Dallas, Texas, the site of the Super Bowl. I'm actually at NFL headquarters, by the way. And David Hero, I gotta ask you this.
Yes.
Why the hate? Why the disdain for me? No. I happen to catch a few of your comments here at the beginning of the program.
It's just I want to be Miz free. That's all I want for one show.
Oh, you want to be Miz free because Miz is still the WWE champion, and he's got a cakewalk coming up next month there in 3 weeks at the Elimination Chamber because he's going to go in and destroy
He's not even here.
King Lawler, and he will do so on a pay-per-view, and he will do so on his way.
If you don't settle down most of the year,
he will do so on his way.
He's ruining the entire show. Tillman, will you please hang up on this Joker? He's not here. It might be his show, but we don't need him right now.
In Atlanta, Georgia, he will do it like he's done it each and every time.
Cut him.
You won't.
See what I mean? This is what we're trying to avoid.
I'm asking you. I'm begging you. Just give him a little bit of credit.
Seriously. Thank you. Thank God.
Whatever you said there, Damian, it was fine.
You know, he gets an award, it goes straight to his head. Look at this guy.
Well,
I think
he's
I
gone.
saved us all. Yeah, Tillman hung up on him. Thank God.
Well, let's give him his due. Okay, when you were awarded Hall of Fame, Hall of Famer, and well deserved.
Did I go on a tirade about somebody?
No,
I didn't. No.
But all seriousness, it's a fantastic award.
He deserves it
for him. He's done everything above and beyond. And if you had an opportunity, I believe it's
WrestlingRadioAwards.com.
That's it.
Yes.
Just take a look on there, and I'm sure that there's information on it. It's just that
he's going to be pretty hot that Tillman hung up on. I was just kidding, Tillman. I didn't think he'd really hang up on the guy that runs the show here, but it'll be fine.
Anyway, we want to hear your thoughts a little bit later on in the program. Obviously, hot off the heels of an exciting Raw, which just ended, but also a very exciting, intriguing storylines that they can continue to build on. Royal Rumble last night. Surprising. I did not see this coming, which is a great thing. I know that there's a lot of you out there that I knew he was going to win.
Right.
I wasn't one of them.
I've always been a Del Rio fan. So
yeah, you picked him as breakout star of the year, so you're on a right track for that.
Absolutely.
Unlike my idiotic pick right now, which I'm not giving up yet.
I can't believe you picked T.L. Hopper. What were you thinking?
well, yeah, I gave it a shot with that. But it's only late January, February, so I still got 9 months to figure it out. But it was a Rumble that had, what I enjoy, first of all, I enjoy surprises, but there are storylines that they can build off of them and go in different directions as you build up to WrestleMania, obviously the Elimination Chamber in between. But I like where this could possibly go because it's still a little unsure, with the exception of Del Rio against Edge, most likely.
Which they announced tonight pretty much on Raw.
Right. But as far as the Raw side of things, there's still some areas of interesting things where they can go.
It's obvious where that's going to head. It's going to be Miz and John Cena. I mean,
most likely.
That is definitely where they're heading right now.
The challenge there for WWE is they have to build a money match. I don't know if Edge Del Rio is a money match at the moment. They still got a couple months to figure it out.
Yeah, they do.
They have some build up there. But for Miz, as we've been waiting to see who can he match up with that'll make you want to watch WrestleMania. I'm going to watch Miz because he's taking on blank. Right now, we don't know where that's headed. It could be Cena. Most likely it'll be Cena. But will that be enough for the fans to go, oh, gee, now Cena's going to win at WrestleMania?
They definitely need some help right now. Because right now, there's not, with the exception of Del Rio and Edge, there's no matches lined up for Mania yet.
No.
I mean, yeah, normally,
I'm sure they have a plan.
Do you think so?
I think so. At least a preliminary plan on napkins somewhere. Like, this could work.
Well, one of the rumored matches is Undertaker against Wade Barrett, which, that's great for Wade Barrett.
Right.
But, I mean, really, that's not what the fans want to see.
No, there's got to be that hint of, could the Undertaker lose this? Wade Barrett at the moment, no, doesn't do it. But we'll get your thoughts on that later on in the program. You saw Raw tonight. Want to get your thoughts on that also? As Jerry Lawler wins the 8-man over-the-top Raw Battle Royal, I believe it was branded that way. Kind of a shocker.
Jerry the King Lawler
Can you believe
is the
that?
number one contender. Wow. God bless Jerry the King Lawler. You know what? Great for him. There's no question that, it's definitely helping his other bookings and appearances and whatnot because, not only is he being showcased on Raw every week, but now he's a main event player on Raw. Who would have thought?
He must have something in his contract where it gave him this opportunity after a certain amount of time. I mean, how else could you put him in that? Although they are adding Michael Cole to it as far as the, the bickering and stuff, so I can see how that angle could be working out. But, wow. They must have a plan for Jerry, too, but he's got to have some pull there. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that later on. When we come back, Kevin Nash will join us.
No. It's Diesel.
It's been a long time.
It's a big difference. Diesel.
He is a big difference.
Number 1 in your heart, number 23 in the Royal Rumble. The loudest pop of the night. Let's go Diesel.
The Michael Jordan of the Raw with the 23.
Absolutely.
That'll work. He's coming up next. We are broadcasting live from the Time Warner Cable Studios in the snowy downtown Milwaukee. It is crazy out there.
The only snow I want to see is Al snow.
There you go.
I'm tired of this stuff.
The Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
When you want to turn bedtime into playtime, Super Video. Super Video 2 and City News and Video has exactly what you need. Stop in for great deals on adult titles. Right now, buy 2 $14.95 DVDs and you'll get 2 free. That's right, free. They also have a wide variety of lingerie for that lady in your life, varying from risque fashions to racy bedroom wear and everything in between. Surprise that special someone with a sensational gift for the both of you. You're sure to find just what you're looking for to heat things up between the sheets. Don't forget, Super Video 2, and City News and Video carry a full line of tobacco accessories, including wood, metal, and color-changing pieces. And they're open late, till 2 a.m. or later. For all your adult entertainment needs, remember to shop Super Video in West Dallas, Super Video 2 in Cudahy, and City News and Video in Waukesha.
Smoking accessories are for tobacco use only. No other use is intended or implied.
A great office location is critical to the success of a business. Not only can a business in the right location create a positive image, but it also benefits from the exposure afforded by its neighboring businesses and their clientele. In downtown Milwaukee, 310 West Wisconsin offers such a location. The building stands out with its memorable vivid blue glass exterior and offers over 500,000 square feet of office and retail space, along with panoramic city views and the best available amenities. The high-rise also features a skylit atrium, renovated lobby, attached covered parking, and close proximity to bus lines and freeways. Plus, there's skywalk access to local hotels, the downtown convention center, and various retail shops. In addition to a convenience store and cafe on site, 310 West Wisconsin also offers first-class dining on site with the Capitol Grill restaurant. For leasing information, call 414-347-1000 or log on to 310westwisconsin.com. That's 414-347-1000 or the number's 310westwisconsin.com. Tune into Golden Eagles Game Day throughout the Marquette basketball season on your Marquette flagship, 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Your favorite 540 ESPN personalities will bring you insight on the game that day while also looking big picture on the season. We'll take your calls and interact with you on Facebook and Twitter. Golden Eagles Game Day is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank, the Chevy Cruze, Techteriors, and the Capitol Grill. Listen to Golden Eagles Game Day all season long on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Kevin Richards is concerned about sending his identity out into the world.
Oh, no. What now?
Hey, guys. You know how you're always going on how I can't protect myself?
Yeah, because you can't.
I can. I'm taking karate. Any of those bad guys try to snatch me up? Ooh, whammo.
Wait, stop, okay? No, you're just a bundle of numbers and personal data.
Who can handle himself?
And you broke it.
You see that? Karate.
Wondering where your identity goes? It's time to get total protection from Identity Guard. You'll get the kind of protection and information that helps you keep track of what your identity is up to 24/7, so you know what's going on. It's protection no matter where your identity goes. Identity Guard, making it okay to trust again.
Did you know that you can also use a credit card as a weapon?
Ow! Okay, now I do know.
Visit IdentityGuard.com today. That's IdentityGuard.com.
Are you looking to hire experienced software and hardware engineers, DBAs, storage engineers, project managers? Then look to Dice.com. For over 17 years, Dice, the #1 online technology job board, has focused exclusively on tech jobs. Post your open technology positions on Dice to access the best tech talent, or search through thousands of resumes from qualified engineering and tech professionals from all across the country. Visit Dice.com. Dice.com.
The sports Milwaukee cares about all day long on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com, along with the Hall of Famer David Hero on the cause. Joining us now, special guest of the Time Warner Cable phone line. He was with WWF, he was with TNA, and WCW. And now he's sort of kind of back with WWE. You know him as Diesel. It's Kevin Nash. Kevin, good evening.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Kev, how are you doing?
Good, man.
What a great night last night. You know,
Yeah, it was beyond expectations.
I mean, for the past few days, it was all over the internet. Kevin Nash, Booker T, Kevin Nash on their way to Boston. The wrestling paparazzi even tracks you down at Boston Airport with the video cameras, and they're going out there to try to get the big scoop and the hot news, and there you were. What was that like? I mean, from what I hear, there was as many people at the airport waiting for you as some other house shows around town.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a different world. I mean, it's. I mean, just even last night, I put my bag in talent relations when I got there. I ran around, had to do some things with, had some pictures taken, and had to talk to the THQ video people and different things. And it's like to be in an arena again, especially one that size. Like I couldn't find my bag. I was like, does anybody know where talent relations is? But. Yeah, it's a different world.
When you got to Boston and you got to the building and you walked in, you walked in the back, and obviously there's completely new faces since you were there last. What was about 8 years ago, correct?
Right.
What was that like? I mean, the guys like Undertaker, he wasn't there. Obviously, Shawn Michaels wasn't there. I'm sure Triple H was there, but the group that you were with is pretty much gone.
Yeah. And
now it's all, I mean, you don't want to call them young kids, but, when they're next to you in the ring, they're young kids.
Well, I mean, John was there, Cena was there when I was there last time, and Orton, and of course, Glenn was there. Just to have Book there was just huge. Because Book and I have been together the last couple of years wrestling, so it was like at least it was almost like when Scott and I jumped to WCW together. It's like it's one thing to jump by yourself. It's always great to have that one guy to kind of for no other reason, just streetwise, just to have your back. It was just nice to have Book there with me.
You're listening to Kevin Nash here on the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Kevin, you walk through the curtain and you hear the crowd erupt. What was that like?
Me and Book had a couple of cocktails after the night was over, and Book said, when he went out, he said, I heard that crowd reaction. He said, I almost turned around to see if somebody was behind me. It's just, the thing is, it's just when you, and it's nothing against, TNA is what it is. It's 800 people or 1,000 people, whatever it is in that studio. And I mean, it's been so long since I've walked. I mean, the last time I walked out in front of that many people was the Tokyo Dome, and that was 2 years ago at the 20th anniversary show. But it's the Japanese crowd is so different than the U.S. crowd. So it was, I just took my time. I just sat there and savored it, and I said, man, this is nice. This is very nice. So it was definitely. I was talking to Joey Styles after the match, and I said, Joe, when I beat Bob Backlund at the Garden, I said it was a special moment in my life, and probably one of the biggest highlights of my wrestling career. I said, but it was so young in my run, I really didn't appreciate what it was, and they brought me back out to the Garden after, because I think we worked maybe fourth that night, and they brought me back out later on in the night, and I got another ovation, and I mean it was special. But it's when you know that you've got so much more behind than you do in front of you in your career, and you go out there and you get that kind. I mean, I couldn't thank the people from Boston enough. For that response, and for the people that were on Twitter, that my wife told me at one point I was like the number one trending topic, for a half hour. I mean, those are the things that when you look back at it, you say, I guess these 30 operations were worth it, because there are people out there that even though I have the moniker Big Lazy, I guess occasionally I must have got off my ass and done something.
What do you think is? I mean, when there's that "Let's Go Diesel" chant, it was shaking. I mean, I wasn't there live. I was watching it on pay-per-view, but you could just hear the building shake. You got to wonder what's going through the minds of the people in Nashville, Tennessee, when a guy that they weren't too sure what they wanted to do with gets the biggest reaction on one of the biggest WWE pay-per-views of the year.
I'm sure that they realized that they were right, that they shouldn't have signed me after the October pay-per-view. They should have tried to cut my pay, and I think they were dead on. I think that mindset is proven to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to them it solidifies that they're on top of their game.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. And from what I heard is that this week's TNA TVs, they've been rewriting it rather quickly because obviously they had hoped that you and Booker would have showed up to be a part of the Mafia with Kurt Angle, and they are grasping at straws right now to try to fill those two holes.
Talk.
There's a couple of guys out there that work for free.
You know what? I do believe Gilbert is available,
yeah.
And I should probably shoot them.
You can make that happen,
yeah,
can't you?
Exactly.
Kevin,
I've come to the conclusion that I don't think you should ever sign a contract in professional wrestling that pays you less than your Social Security does a month when you're 65. I don't know.
Did you have an opportunity to see Vince Lynn last night or no?
To see who?
Vince.
Absolutely.
And what was that conversation like?
If I could just give you a capsule, number one, this is like the difference between everything. They flew me out of Daytona Beach because it's a pricier ticket, but it's just more convenient for me. Whereas I would have flown out of Orlando had it been TNA. So instead of driving 90 miles, I drove 12.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect flight, get in, and they want to. I'm staying on the actual Boston airport property, and they're going to send a car to take me basically 11 feet. And I'm like, I can take the Hyatt shuttle.
You can fall out of bed and be there.
I can take the Hyatt shuttle 11 feet. And I get there, and you got the best room in the hotel, Mr. Nash. I get there, I go to my room, and I open the blinds, and here's across the harbor is, on the right-hand side is the Fleet Center,
mm-hmm.
and then the whole, Boston skyline. I go downstairs, I have a great dinner, nice bottle of wine, come upstairs, and it's just like I get every hour I get a text. Finally, it's like, this is your driver. This is the driver comes and gets me. It's like a CIA movie. I go up the back ramp of the garden. It's like coordinated. There's not even a stop. Like we're halfway up and the gate's going up. I pull in. There's Johnny Ace and Jimmy. That's a security guy, and shoot me in, get my paperwork signed, get me to the doctor for a full physical. And then it's, and they took me in to see, I wanted to see Paul, so I got to go in and see, spend about a half hour with Paul. Then they shot me out of there, and I had to go, do pictures and video and a couple other things, some of the products that they wanted to get, up and going. And then, from there, I talked to Vince. From there, I got Stephanie. I got a chance to see Steph, and then Steph, Paul, and I spent some time together. And then it was Paul kind of gave me a rundown of what we were doing and in the Rumble, and I just said I just think it's going to be too much heat if I go over, and he said, well, we'll change it.
Yeah, the Miz couldn't handle Kevin Nash coming after him. That's for damn sure.
So no, he told me what we're doing, and and then I went and I just got and Paul and I. He said, "Have you been down the ring yet?" And I said, "No." So we went down the ring. I see Mike Rotunda, and people don't remember this, but I mean, would never know this, but I remember my first road run ever in the WCW days, NWA days. Mike Rotunda was working with me, and he was, my partner left. He was horrible, and I remember Mike Rotunda met me at the first at Center Stage, the first, I think it was a Tuesday. He said, "Can you get there at 11 o'clock?" I'm like, "Yeah." And Mike Rotunda sat there in the ring and let me drop elbows on him for like 2 hours. Just to, so it's just like, so you see a guy like that, and and it's just like, you don't forget guys like that in your career. And like, Arn, I saw Arn. It was great to see Arn. We laughed, and I got to see Glenn Jacobs Kane that I've known for 100 years, and I got to see Pat Patterson, and then I got a chance to. It was funny because I tapped Wade. Wade was on the. I said, "You got a tweeting about me? Tweeting about me, haven't you?" He just looked at me like, "What?"
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because about a month or so ago, there was a video where you and X-Pac were doing like a shoot video about Wade Barrett.
Yeah.
And then, to see you two guys actually in the ring, like all came full circle.
Well, like I've always said, if you're not smart enough to watch the opposition program and see that the one kid, Miz, has got the belt, and the other kid is the head heel in charge of the hottest faction on the other television. It's like, if you're not trying to get into some kind of angle with them somehow, you're not very smart. Because if you go into the organization and you've already got kind of a built-in storyline, you sure don't want to be doing it with the bottom guy.
Absolutely. Well, and when you say Wade Barrett, when you walked in the locker room, what did some of those younger guys, what was their reaction like? Here comes Kevin Nash. Obviously, there's a reputation that, precedes you when you walk into a locker room. And were they surprised? Were they shocked? Were they concerned?
I don't think so. I think it's, I think it's one of those deals like anything else. And I think that my reputation is one thing. I think if you spend 3 minutes with me, you realize that it's mostly bull.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like me and Ag, I got a chance. I haven't seen Edge in a while. It's like we're all wrestlers. That's what we do, and we're all trying to get each other over and trying to make the product the best we can, no matter what organization we're with. And it's, I don't ever I don't care what somebody says about somebody else until I meet them and sit down with them. Like, there's a lot of people that really had a problem with Goldberg, but when it was just Bill and I one-on-one, it was, Bill and I were, he was a sweetheart and always was to me, and always, I wouldn't have anything, was Bill difficult wrestling-wise? Maybe. As a human being, no, he was perfect.
Well, Kevin, if you can hold on, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, what might the next 60 days be like for Diesel?
At least the next 62 days. 62
days. We'll find that out. We're broadcasting live from the Time Warner Cable Studios in downtown Milwaukee. You're listening to the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
CPS parking is all over downtown Milwaukee, but more importantly, at this time of the year, it is the main parking source if you're going to the Bradley Center to check out the Bucks, the Admirals, or the Marquette Golden Eagles. CPS Amber Lot on 6th and Highland is a surface lot that's right next to the Bradley Center. It's reasonable from an economic standpoint, easy to get in and out of, and more importantly, safe and secure. Check out their website, www.parking.com. Remember, that CPS Parking, a can't-miss proposition. You'll like it.
ESPN Milwaukee gives you high school basketball. Tune in for High School Hysteria every Saturday morning at 7. Hi, it's Matt Salmon. Join me and other 540 ESPN personalities as we bring you the thrilling basketball action. Log on to ESPNMilwaukee.com and vote on which matchup should be the Big 12 Sports Basketball Game of the Week. High School Hysteria is brought to you by WISN Channel 12, Subway, Milwaukee Sporting Goods, Durzon and Menard, Industrial Recyclers. It's High School Hysteria every Saturday morning at 7 on ESPN Milwaukee.
Of all the things I think about every day, stroke wasn't one of them. Then my brother, who always took care of himself, had one. I was telling my doctor, and he said 4 out of 5 people who have a stroke never show symptoms. And he said 80% of strokes can be prevented when identified early. So I decided to get screened by Lifeline Screening. In about an hour, Lifeline Screening did a series of non-invasive screenings using sonograms to look inside my arteries and determine my risk for stroke and heart disease.
If you're over 50, Lifeline Screening has screening packages that can help detect the warning signs so you can prevent a stroke and heart disease from happening to you.
When I got the results, I went to my doctor who developed a treatment plan. Now, I know I'm doing the right things to keep healthy.
Lifeline Screening's community health screenings are coming to your neighborhood. Appointments are limited. Make yours now. Call 888-719-TEST. That's 888-719-TEST. 888-719-TEST.
Since OnStar began, we've responded to over 100,000 automatic crash alerts.
OnStar emergencies.
Yeah, we're going to need an ambulance out here. There's a real bad accident here.
All right, sir. I'm contacting the 911 center.
In a crash, an OnStar advisor can automatically receive an alert.
911.
This is OnStar emergency. I have a vehicle crash, airbag deployment at Swan Lake Road. They are saying there are injuries. I'll conference you in.
Who is injured?
Oh, I don't know. My knees are broken. It's a hell of a wreck.
Dispatch, I'm showing the maximum reported Delta V was 18 miles per hour from the front.
Okay, thank you. We have an ambulance and first responders on the way.
With built-in automatic crash response, an OnStar advisor can use GPS technology to locate you and share crash details, which could help save your life.
The ambulance is here.
I do hope everything will be okay with you, sir.
Okay.
OnStar is standard for the first year on 15 Chevy models. Visit OnStar.com for details and system limitations.
Hey, America, how do you use WebEx?
We use WebEx for our fantasy football draft.
I use WebEx to record meetings, so anyone who misses it can see it, hear it, and get up to speed quickly.
My son came home from school sick yesterday. Thanks to WebEx, I didn't miss the client meeting. I saw everything right on my cell phone.
Got an idea? Start a WebEx. Connect online and share what's on your computer screen with others, cross-town or cross-country. Share presentations. Conduct training sessions. You can even pass the ball and let others take control. Go to Webex.com and try WebEx free. Just click the radio graphic and enter promo code EASY to get a free trial and a free VoIP headset. Remember that code, EASY. WebEx from Cisco. Webex.com. Free headsets available while supplies last. Terms and restrictions apply. See website for details. Go to Webex.com and click the radio graphic and enter promo code EASY.
540 ESPN Text Club members get the breaking news on the Packers, Brewers, Badgers, and Bucks. Sign up today at ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report. 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Special guest on the line, Diesel, Kevin Nash, who had probably an exciting evening last night. And Kev, after, hopefully you're on with us, Kev. You still there?
Yeah.
Good. Just making sure we have full boat of lines here. Talk a little bit about, you're done with your match last night. Obviously, crowd erupted. You shared maybe a beverage, and you thought, now what's next? So what could be in the works, or I guess what's your best case scenario here for the next few days, a few weeks?
I mean, I don't know. We're going to talk on Wednesday. I'm going to definitely sign. There's they basically call like a Legends contract. It's where I'll be kind of a worst case scenario an ambassador, and it's a licensing, a merchandising agreement. I'll work with the videos and
action figures, T-shirts, video games,
all that. Yeah, so I mean, basically, I'll be doing that. We had Jennifer Hudson there last night. She was backstage.
Nice.
Her husband was wrestling. This is the key, okay? It's like 9:45, and if you go to craft services and there's not fake imitation, but they still have actual lobster rolls. I'm talking like 8 ounces of lobster. In these
well, you're in the Boston area, so they better have good lobster there.
I mean, you can get a New York strip. You can. I mean, it's just like When I pulled up, like all the guys now travel in buses. All the top guys travel in buses now. I pulled up. I said, "What is the Royal Rumble going on, or the Eagles here?"
You got to see Glenn Fry and.
Yeah, exactly. I just hope that we're going to play "The Heat Is On" because I don't believe.
Isn't that your theme song, anyhow?
Something from Nickelback.
How nice are those buses? I mean, I've seen them, and I heard that Hunter has one, and Big Show, and Edge, and Cena. Were you able to get inside one of those and check them out?
I was in Hunter's bus, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago when he first got his, and they came to Daytona Beach, and I got a chance to, and I've been on, but Hunter's was the fit and finish was nicer than any house I've lived in. So, but no, I mean it's just these guys have. I mean, that's how much that company has evolved. It used to be if you had 3 guys in a Cadillac, you were pimping.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's if you got a 40-footer, you're kind of slumming. You need the 48 with the slide out.
But you mentioned about how it's evolved, and now like how Vince has his own film division, and your good close personal friend Triple H has this new movie coming out, The Chaperone, I believe. I'm not too sure if you've seen that one or not yet.
I haven't.
It's coming out in a couple of weeks. With this new Legends deal, could that open the door for some more movies for you? I mean, I know that you're going to be Thor's father in a Thor movie coming out as well.
Well, I mean, the opportunities are with that kind of a corporation are just so limitless, and I mean it's from a production standpoint. I mean the machine. I remember a long time ago when we had the opportunity to battle them at WCW and come ahead for a little while against Vince's program, and I told Bischoff, I said, it was finally they took back over, and it was like that WrestleMania when Tyson came, and each match had like a movie trailer quality clip that like set up the match, because Vince knew that not everybody was watching the show, but he knew that he could put together a 3 or 4 minute clip to basically tie each. And each match that night was like epic because of the production quality of Dunn and Kerwin. So it's like you look at that, and I remember Sullivan the next day Kevin Sullivan come in. He goes, "Brother, did you see WrestleMania?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I put my hand in the water. It felt cold. Titanic's going to hit the iceberg pretty soon." He wasn't far off. I mean, it was just it was a matter of time. But when finally everything kind of imploded, and AOL took over, and they started selling everything off, and they started cutting Eric's budget and everything else. And I told Eric, he was sitting there one day, he was really down. I told him, I said, "Eric," I said, "one of these days," I said, "you're going to go to work for the WWE." I said, "You're going to walk into that tower, and you're going to walk into that production studio, and you're going to look at what it's like, dude. You have no idea the machine that they have."
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't been there for a while. I remember when I went back in 2003, and they were just like, they had the London office, St. Paulo office, and now it's been another 8 years. I come back, and it's like light years. I mean, that company it's amazing. It's just you watch where wrestling is, the progression of wrestling, and I know right now that a lot of people, and it is one of those things where you don't know a lot of the guys. But I remember in 92, 93, I remember when Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall, myself, and a couple other guys. Like there was a mass exodus where Hogan and Macho and DiBiase and everybody left. And all the guys took the Lloyd's of London money. You know, we lost Rude and all those guys took off, you know, with injuries. And it was just like we sat in the locker room and we were like, we don't have any stars. And Pat Patterson, what do you mean? You guys are the stars. And we went like, yeah, you're right. And that's just, you know, during that transition process right now, you know, building new stars. So, you know, if I can help, you know, do that, then that's great. You know, people always say, you know, do you think you have one more run in you or whatever? And you try to answer people, you know, like with a legitimate answer, but the bottom line is, you know, if somebody asks you, do you have another run in you? It's just like, I don't know, ask the booking department.
Right.
You know? I mean, ask them. They're the ones that inevitably tell you whether you have a run or not. You know, so I mean, if I have a run, if they saw something in me last night and they think that they can make some money, or I can make, you know, elevate somebody, or they can team me with somebody, or put me in a faction, or I can manage somebody. I mean, I'm wide open to anything.
Well, they actually saw it and they heard it. I mean, it was loud. But you know, Kevin, you mentioned about making stars, and one of the biggest problems in TNA over the past several years is they really haven't made any of their own stars bigger than who they've brought in, you know, from the East. How can they change that? I mean, what can they do to turn that company around? I mean, they've obviously, you know, they bring in Hogan, they bring in Flair. There's now rumors that Flair may be leaving the company because of what happened overseas. They bring in Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy.
Well, I would. Number one, I think that. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just a difference of being the way you're brought up in the business. But if somebody told me that Rick didn't have a credit card, didn't have any cash on him, and he was going to get stuck, and he wasn't getting on the bus, and they were just going to leave him, and everybody, you know, in conjunction basically says, yeah, we should leave him, I'd be like, whoa, wait a minute, that's Ric Flair. Like, excuse me, can I get my bags off the bus? I got a credit card. We'll get, me and Rick will get a train. Like, I would have never you don't do that. Mm-hmm. You know, you're supposed to be a team. You know, people, you know, I don't care if somebody's having a bad day or whatever. You don't leave somebody. You don't leave somebody stranded someplace. You know, I know some of the management was staying in a different hotel. It was $1,500 a night, and there's a lot of shopping going on. I mean, you know, sometimes things get misconstrued, but you know, you just don't leave a guy like that. You don't leave Ric Flair anywhere. I mean, that's just Ric Flair. I don't care what he's done, what he said, who he's ticked off. He's earned the right to. You know, you make sure Ric Flair gets to where he needs to be. You want to punish him, you do that, but you don't punish him by leaving him stranded in the middle of Europe.
Gotcha. And then when you left TNA, you know, they went in a different direction with Jeff Hardy. You and Sting took some time off. Now on Raw tonight, and I don't know if you watched Raw or not yet. They did a promo where on 2/21/11, they showed a guy in a rainstorm. Well, they didn't show his face. In a long black trench coat, walking into like an empty haunted house kind of thing.
Yeah.
Would you be surprised if Sting were to show up and maybe had a match with the Undertaker at WrestleMania this year?
Well, if the option was there, he'd be a damn fool not to.
You know, I mean, I think WrestleMania needs a Kevin Nash or Diesel at WrestleMania. I think a Sting versus Undertaker would make things very interesting. I mean, obviously Sting's never been in the company before, and I think that's what Taker would need. And boy, it's almost like another invasion. You know what I'm saying? Whereas now 3 of the bigger veteran stars, you know, yourself, Booker T, Sting.
That's 3 of the main event mafia.
Exactly. All you're missing is Papa Pump and Kurt Angle.
I think Kurt's up in August. I don't think it takes too too many Scotty Steiner explosions to get him thrown out of there. So.
Kevin, if we could keep you on for one more segment, there's just a couple other questions that we want to just kind of tie the loose ends if we could.
Absolutely.
Great, we appreciate it. You're listening to the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
This is a sponsored message brought to you by Tour Books. The most ancient of human questions sparks a clash between scientists and fundamentalists in a riveting thriller. I'm Diana Page Jordan. In Blasphemy, Douglas Preston tells the story of a team of scientists on a Navajo Indian reservation who turn on a super collider and make an amazing discovery, which they try to keep secret.
My novel begins with my character, Wyman Ford, who was sent out there by the government to find out what's gone wrong and what these scientists seem to be hiding.
The true-to-life super collider is called Isabella.
Here is a machine that is actually recreating the energy density of the Big Bang.
In Blasphemy, an army of fundamentalists stages a bloody battle over Isabella.
The clash we see now, the creationist versus evolutionist debate, is really, I think, only the beginning.
Preston says he's deeply fearful of people who insist they know the truth.
Novel means new, and the best thing a novel can do, I think, is introduce you to ideas that may not have occurred to you before.
Blasphemy by Douglas Preston. This is a sponsored message brought to you by Tour Books.
Hello, I'm your eyes.
And I'm your nose, with something very important to discuss with you this allergy season.
That's right. Nels and I, we both suffer from seasonal allergy symptoms, so we want to be treated together.
That's why we want you to ask our doctor about Veramist nasal spray. Prescription Veramist fluticasone furoate is one medicine that's FDA approved to treat both seasonal nasal
and seasonal eye symptoms in patients 12 and older.
Veramist treats me when I'm runny, stuffy, itchy, and sneezing.
Plus, treats my watery, itchy red eyes. Veramist is one medicine approved to treat all that.
For best results, use once daily. Side effects may include nosebleed, nasal sores, or nasal fungal infection. Eye problems, including glaucoma or cataracts, may occur, so have regular eye exams. Results may vary. Maximum benefit may take several days. Don't spray in eyes.
Tell it, nose.
All together now.
Veramist for our seasonal nasal and eye allergy symptoms.
One for all.
To learn more, talk to your doctor. See our ad in health. Call 866-9-VERAMIST or visit veramist.com.
Miller Lite and 540 ESPN are teaming up to give you a super party at your house. We have 4 great parties to give away, and each party will include plenty of Miller Lite, food provided by Noodles & Company, and a $200 gift card to the Packer Pro Shop, compliments of Miller Lite. If that's not enough, one grand prize winner will receive a 50-inch Samsung Plasma HD TV for the big game, courtesy of Texteriors. You'll have 4 chances to come out on Thursday and register to win at 3:30 at Discount Liquors of Waukesha or Gary's Beer of Oak Creek, and at 6 o'clock at Otto's Wine Cask in Brown Deer or Woodman's in Kenosha. For details on the locations and contest rules, visit ESPNMilwaukee.com. Who doesn't want to win a super party for 20 at your house with Miller Lite, food from Noodles, a $200 Packer Pro Shop gift card, and a chance for a 50-inch plasma TV from Texteriors? Come see us this Thursday for your chance to win with Miller Lite at 540 ESPN. Miller Lite, taste greatness.
We Energies, proud supporter of the Admirals, Brewers, Bucks, and Packers, brings you today's Power Replay.
Talking to William Henderson here on the D-List. I would think that a Super Bowl victory for you or anyone else would stay with you, obviously, for the rest of your life. But in some ways, a Super Bowl loss might linger just as much or more if you can't let it go. Is it hard to let that go?
For the next 365 days, you're reminded of it. Every time that Time Life book commercial would come on and you start hearing that music, knowing that they're not talking about you in a positive way. You didn't do it. It's difficult to deal with. It gnaws at you. You can't wait for another opportunity to redeem yourself. For me, losing the second one, it was so much more validating for how wonderful it was to have that early success in my career of going to a Super Bowl and winning one. As great as it is to have an AFC or NFC championship ring, it's so much more rewarding to have that Super Bowl ring.
We Energies, energy you can depend on.
Get the latest fantasy information during Fantasy Sports Weekly, Saturday mornings at 9 on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Got a special guest in the Time Warner Cable phone line. Kevin Nash was Diesel from last night. Kevin, appreciate you sticking around with us.
Sure.
Does that music take you back a little bit, Kevin?
Yeah.
There's a couple versions of that, and I didn't know which one they were going to play, but I didn't know because there was one that later on in my career that didn't have the truck.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe that last one was the Vinny Vegas theme.
Yeah, I know that one.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a couple of questions we want to make sure that we get to, and one of them was after the match was ending, as you were, at least your part of the match, and you were walking up the ramp, you kind of gave a look to the Big Show. Can you talk a little bit about what that was about?
Well, he and I have I think we've probably been across the ring as rivals almost as many times as we've been side by side. So, kind of like that big guy thing. He was looking sideways at me. I was just walking. I just caught him looking at me, so I looked at him, and then, I didn't know. I'm not going to sucker punch him time, so I took back and looked again. So,
if you could pick one guy in either the Raw or the SmackDown roster, and for WrestleMania coming up in Atlanta, who would you want to work with?
Who would I want to work with? Jeez.
We threw a curveball there.
In a perfect world, Taker. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Show Kane.
I'd rather see you take.
I would like to work. I would work Wade. I'd like to work Wade.
Yeah,
that could be an outstanding match.
There's definitely a good backstory there. For me personally, I'd rather you just jackknife powerbomb Miz and just take that title from him. In a perfect world, that'd be great for me. But,
I would. I think that because I've been saving that one, like the 450 moon bomb and I've been saving all those things. I guess if it was maybe put my career on the line that night, I might be able to frog splash and do the trash can and jump off from the other corner with the double drop kick in. I've got those things in my arsenal. I just haven't used them.
You're saving it.
You know what? And that reminds me. Were there any rock stars in the locker room on Sunday night?
Morrison.
No.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah. There was an interview by a TNA star who said there were two rock stars, in the TNA locker room. Just kind of curious if you thought that there were more rock stars in the Royal Rumble locker room.
Oh, those kind of rock stars.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Collectively, the rock stars at TNA seem to be around about 600. The collective band at WWE seems to be. That must have been close to 24,000 people. I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with the Roger Waters tour.
There you go.
Well, and then also, there's some people that have Kevin Nash coming to their town for some independent appearances and bookings and whatnot. And obviously, with you being in the Royal Rumble, you told me earlier that they can all breathe easy, that you can still, regardless, when you sign your contract with the E as an ambassador, that you'll still be able to honor those other commitments, correct?
Yeah, I talked to Johnny, and he said that, that those things, because they were pre-existing, I'd be able to, to honor all those. That was, I thought that was great, because I've got some movie things, and I think that, I really don't have anything like pertinent going into Mania, so I could make that run. And I told anybody that wanted to listen. Like I told them, I said I'll work and I'll go as long. I said I can't work a full schedule. I'm not stupid enough to think I can. Mm-hmm. That little bit I did last night was the first thing I've done in 3 months. And I woke up this morning and I could feel that my body was banged up a little bit. Once I took a hot shower, I was fine, but I woke up stiff. So it's just, I'm not stupid. The perfect situation for me is I look at me and Show had, would just say, hey, big guy, how about the two biggest guys in the territory get side by side and bump somebody around and not bump.
Those are the best kind of matches, aren't they?
Absolutely. It's nothing better than throwing a guy back and forth to two big 7-foot guys.
Well, and then, of course, Kevin Nash will be in LaSalle, Illinois on Saturday for Dreamwave Wrestling. If you go to dreamwavewrestling.com, you'll be there. It'll be an internet pay-per-view as well. So I'll be heading down there with the great Khali, and we'll be checking that out. And
I'll be seeing you then.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Cal actually pulled your number in the Royal Rumble pool yesterday and was very excited. Very excited. But was a little frustrated when he didn't win the money. So.
I'm sorry, Cal. I'll make it up to him.
Sounds good. Sounds very good.
We got about a minute left, and we got to ask you. We're obviously on a 540 ESPN station here. You got a pick for the Sunday Super Bowl?
I mean, if I had to, if somebody gave me $10,000 and said you had to pick, no point spread, no nothing, you had to pick a team, I'd say not a chance. I really thought Atlanta would beat Green Bay in Atlanta because when they just destroyed them, I'm afraid of Green Bay in that dome. Their offense is, Rodgers, I think, what is he, 8-1 or 10-2?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like unbelievable in indoors. And at the same time, it's like Roethlisberger. I mean, I watched him for the last I watched the defense of the Jets. Arm tackle Brady and arm tackle Peyton Manning. And I saw 5 of them hanging on Ben. And Ben getting out of the pocket and making the passes. So it's I just know that finally, number one, I'm going to be watching 2 teams. I can't take the Panthers and the Jaguars and these Tennessee Titans. I can't take it. It looks like I'm watching a USFL game
or XFL game.
Steelers. It's the Steelers versus the Packers. This is a real Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. And, I got a ton of friends up in Pittsburgh, and I got a ton of friends, Dave and everybody else up there. It's just like, it's one of those games to me where I don't lose no matter who wins.
Right.
There you go.
Because I know it's going to be great. It's old school football. Green Bay's found their running game. Both teams have the ability to run. Both teams have great defenses. Both teams can go 20 plus yards. It's not going to be that 3-yard dump off crap that. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be
it's going to be a game finally.
Yeah. And I mean, anybody that's got hair that looks like Big Sexy wears a helmet. And I'm not talking about hockey either. I'm talking about my boy.
52.
Clay Matthews.
You got it. I mean, he's my favorite. He's my favorite player in the league. So.
Well, and Kevin Green is our linebackers coach as well.
Yeah.
See?
There you go.
Yeah. Wait, that wrestled him. He beat us.
Yeah.
Charlotte. Grab the tights.
There you go. Kevin, we appreciate your time this evening.
Can I say something, one last thing?
Sure, go ahead.
I gave TNA a hard time tonight. I'm just kidding around, but I mean, I had 4 good years with those guys. I have nothing but respect for them. I wish them all the success in the world, and I just hope that they're as happy for what happened. I mean, and there are a lot of guys tonight that today that sent me texts and stuff that meant the world to me. That I know they're my true friends that said, we were so happy for you last night, and I wish my buddies down there, continued success. I hope I would love to get in a battle again someday where there was a war, and that those numbers got closer because they were good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Dixie was good to me. Everybody was good to me. It's just that there were some underlying situations that came up financially that were out of Dixie's hands that kind of put her in a bad situation, and it kind of hurt our relationship a little bit. But I mean, I got the utmost respect for her. I got the utmost respect for that company. I had a good time. I got a lot of friends down there, and I wish them all the best. And adios, amigos.
Absolutely. Kevin, thanks again for your time. Appreciate it, and best of luck to you.
We'll see you Sunday, Kev.
All right, man. Bye.
Kevin Nash on the Pro Wrestling Report. We come back. We'll take your phone calls. Shane Helms will join us close to the bottom of the hour and much, much more. We're broadcasting live from the Time Warner Cable Studios in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. You're listening to the Pro Wrestling Report. 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com.
WAUK Jackson, it's the Miller Lite Football Show with Mark Chinora. Sunday morning at 10 on 540 ESPN Milwaukee.
When you want to turn bedtime into playtime, Super Video. Super Video 2 and City News and Video has exactly what you need. Stop in for great deals on adult titles. Right now, buy 2 $14.95 DVDs and you'll get 2 free. That's right, free. They also have a wide variety of lingerie for that lady in your life, varying from risque fashions to racy bedroom wear and everything in between. Surprise that special someone with a sensational gift for the both of you. You're sure to find just what you're looking for to heat things up between the sheets. Don't forget, Super Video 2, and City News and Video carry a full line of tobacco accessories, including wood, metal, and color-changing pieces. And they're open late, till 2 a.m. or later. For all your adult entertainment needs, remember to shop Super Video in West Dallas, Super Video 2 in Cudahy, and City News and Video in Waukesha.
Smoking accessories are tobacco use only. No other use is intended or implied.
Bergstrom Chevy in Milwaukee is your home for the best deal on a new Chevy in 2011, and we're proving it with rebates and discounts up to $12,000 off, 0% financing, and sign and drive leases with no money down. Warm up this winter with a new car from Bergstrom Chevy in Milwaukee on the corner of Good Hope and 45, or at BergstromChevrolet.com. For your best deal on a new Chevy and always an amazing experience, visit Bergstrom Chevy of Milwaukee today. Chevrolet and American Revolution offer ends January 31st.
Homer here. Come to Elite Sports Clubs and walk with me 3 times a week. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 7 to 8 a.m. at Elite Sports Clubs. We'll talk sports. We'll talk whatever. And my theory, you'll lose weight. I'm sticking to it. Elite Sports Clubs has everything. Swimming, group fitness, tennis, activities for children. Elite Fitness offers something for the whole family. Want more information? Visit EliteClubs.com or ESPNMilwaukee.com. Remember, walk with me, talk with me Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, 7 to 8 a.m.
Tune into Golden Eagles Game Day throughout the Marquette basketball season on your Marquette flagship, 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Your favorite 540 ESPN personalities will bring you insight on the game that day, while also looking big picture on the season. We'll take your calls and interact with you on Facebook and Twitter. Golden Eagles Game Day is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank, the Chevy Cruze, Techteriors, and the Capitol Grill. Listen to Golden Eagles Game Day all season long on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Hey, small business owner, that 800-pound gorilla is the Internet, and you're nowhere to be found. Get in the game with Yodel. Today, people go online to find everything from plastic surgeons to plumbers. When you work with Yodel, your business will get found on all the major search engines. Yodel builds your site. Yodel maintains it. Yodel handles everything. All you have to handle is the phone when it rings. Call right now and get a $200 credit. 888-64-YODEL. 888-64-YODLE. Yodel local online advertising. From dentists to plumbers, lawyers to contractors. Your business is our business. Call now for a $200 credit. 888-64-YODEL. 888-64-YODLE.
We all know that people are watching their pennies these days, but that doesn't mean the end of Saturday morning soccer games or backyard picnics. At Frito-Lay, we know that the things that make people happiest are usually pretty small and definitely not worth sacrificing. So for the next few months, we're putting 20% more product in specially marked Frito-Lay bags at no extra charge. Yeah, it's a small act, but maybe it'll help put an extra smile on a face or two. And that's our area of expertise. Frito-Lay, sponsoring smiles for 76 years.
to the main event at WrestleMania.
Celebrating 12 years on the air and voted 2009 Broadcast Show of the Year. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Along with the Hall of Famer David Hero, Tillman behind the glass producing the program on the Cause, 414-276-3776. That's locally, all over the world, 800-990 ESPN. PWRshow.com is where you can get the latest information, verified wrestling news, the latest wrestling rumors, and, of course, all information in regards to the Pro Wrestling Report. You get all those T-shirts that we've been sporting the last few months.
Oh, my gosh. Fantastic.
Which are flying off the shelves.
You know what? And if anything, you got to get Meathead's favorite T-shirt, the Thanks Pal T-shirt.
Absolutely.
He wears it with pride every single week. He loves the Thanks Pal.
It's a good shirt.
And, of course, you do great when you wear Tremendous around Linda.
It's worked a little bit.
How about that?
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Later on in the program, about the bottom of the hour, Shane Helms will join us as he's had a little controversy in his social media life.
Absolutely.
So we'll see if he...
we'll talk about Shawn Michaels with him as well.
Yeah, we'll see what his side of the story from without texting. So we'll get that information.
I will always side with a fellow superhero.
There you go.
That's just how it is.
Let's get to some phone calls, and we'll start with Bob in New York City. Bob, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report. Hit it.
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
Doing good. What you got?
Oh, man. It is snowing tonight here in New York.
Same here.
Yeah, dude, man. I'm sorry, man. Hey, Hero, you should have changed your decision on Friday. I think you should have stuck with Del Rio winning the Rumble.
Well, in my heart, I picked him. You know.
Yeah, well, you weren't wearing the lucky scarf like as you said last night. I was wearing my black scarf. That was enough.
And I'm glad you cleared that up again.
I just love saying that. Live radio, no less. But anyways, I was thinking, because I know that you saw those clips of Undertaker of the Elimination Chamber date. My question is, who do you think Undertaker is going to face at Elimination Chamber, and who do you think he might face at WrestleMania? Frank, you can take it away, man.
All right, thanks a lot for the phone call. Who will the Undertaker take on at Elimination Chamber?
I don't think he's going to be there.
I don't think he's going to be there either. They may tease something, maybe at the end, maybe some Thunderbolts or whatever to get WrestleMania going, because obviously he's going after his
Taker
20th.
will return at Mania. He's not going to come back at the Chamber.
No, but maybe at the end, maybe they'll do something.
But if anything, they're going to save that return for a SmackDown to try to pop a rating or something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get another phone call, we've seen the 2/21/11 commercials, vignettes, what do you want to call it? Any guess?
Stinger Taker? Take your pick, Stinger.
You see the kind of black coat there?
I saw the spoilers for TNA. I'm not going to say what, but I think Sting might be that guy.
Very possibly. Let's continue on the phone lines and speak to Eric in Michigan. Eric, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Congratulations, guys.
Well, thank you, Eric.
I just want to say congratulations because you got a Damian-free Miz knockout moment of the night.
Isn't that absolutely # tremendous right now?
And the Alberto Del Rio victory.
Yes.
It's all good. It's a trifecta right there.
It's a Super Friends celebration tonight is what it comes down to.
Exactly.
What's on your mind, Eric?
Celebrating. Awesome Kong. What's going on with her? That's one thing that I wanted to bring up. And also, the they thing, they should just call it him. And that's all I'm saying. I won't spoil it.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for the phone call.
You know what? The whole thing with Awesome Kong is you can tell they're setting things up for Kong by how they put the belt on Eve. Because they're going to bring Awesome Kong out as a big monster heel.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll be in the ring with, the Diva winner, perhaps one of the most beautiful women in Diva Land with Eve, which sets up a great storyline.
Absolutely. I think there's opportunity there.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting, though, is some of these wrestlers, whether it be male or female, they come from TNA, they come into WWE, and they're automatically a heel for the most part, with the exception of not with everybody, but that's been kind of a trend. And it's easier to get them over if they're a heel. However, last night, it went the opposite direction, where people were, not even for Booker T, and we heard the roof fly off when Kevin Nash came out. That reversed the trend right there.
But those two are legendary.
Right.
I mean, when you see Kevin Nash or Diesel, and you see Booker T, it's like, okay, those are two of the main players for the Monday Night Wars. And there was a lot of emotional investment into both those guys. And, I mean, when Kevin Nash first made the jump to WCW, you know, he was like the cool heel at the time. A lot of fans, you know, were behind NWO, and a lot of fans love Booker T.
Let's continue on the phones and speak to Ricardo in Houston. Ricardo, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Yo, what up, dogs?
What up, Ricardo?
I'm just chilling. It is a cool 50 degrees in Houston.
That's it?
Congratulations.
Last night had to be probably the greatest Rumble for me since the Mysterio Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
I marked out so bad for Booker T and Kevin Nash when they came out. It was just great. It was electrifying. You can tell this year's WrestleMania is going to be great if they do it right.
Yeah.
And the 221-11, I saw that too, and I normally don't pray, but I was praying. It's Sting. Hopefully it's Sting. And it was a great Rumble, one of the best ones I've seen in years. And just the question I had for you guys, and this is off topic, off wrestling. David?
Yes, sir.
You're going to be asking the questions to Shane Helms later on, are you?
Absolutely.
Because I believe I'm the one that brought this topic up on PWR 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
I just hope you don't mind sugarcoating the questions.
Sugarcoat? Well, you know what? We'll ask him, and it is what it is. And you know, I've known Shane Helms for a while now, and I honestly believe that we'll get an honest answer, and he's not going to sugarcoat how he feels about things. And you know, we'll just keep it real.
Thanks a lot for the call, Ricardo. Let's continue and speak to Mike in Iowa. Mike, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report.
How's it going, guys?
Pretty good, Mike.
And man, I was marking out when I saw that 221-11 thing. I was thinking, oh my God, Sting! If that's truly Sting, I am gonna mark out like crazy.
Well, if it is Sting, and again, we're only guessing at this point. We have no idea who it is. Who would you like to see him match up with?
Like David Hero said, Undertaker would be. That would be something I would really want to see. Definitely, I'd want to see him face Undertaker. That's a dream match for me. I've been wishing I could see that for years. It'd just be ultimate mark-out moment for me.
I will say this. If it is Sting, Vinnie Mac and company took 3 huge players away from TNA in the past couple weeks. And to me, that sends a message. Not that they're concerned that they're competition, but just that they can do whatever they want to do in the world of wrestling.
Thanks for the call, Mike. You make a good point. Not only do they have Kevin Nash, and I guess this is a lesson for a lot of the wrestlers that are in TNA or any other organization that were in WWE at one point. You really want to leave with, you're held up, everything's good. You didn't burn any bridges.
Good terms. On
good terms. And Kevin Nash proved it. It was a good 8 years ago when he was with the Wolfpack and the whole thing. And I remember one with The Rock comes out and kind of makes fun of Scott Hall and hey, it's Diesel, and for that to come back 8 years ago kind of tells you the respect that he has.
Absolutely.
And that's it's really important for young wrestlers where they don't see that right away. And I think Kevin kind of figured that out. You know what? I only get one shot at this. I'm going to make sure that I do what I need to do, get the fans what they deserve. They paid their hard money, and now it's showing. And you can tell in his voice tonight how overwhelmed he was when he walked out.
Well, think about it. For the past couple of years, the wrestling experts have said he's old, washed up, doesn't mean anything anymore, don't need him, who's Kevin? Why is Kevin Nash still on? Fact of the matter is, he showed up at the Rumble last night, came out as Diesel, crowd went nuts. Which also, by the way, speaking of when the crowd goes nuts, I got to give props to my main mandible, Hornswoggle.
Yeah, what a fantastic job he did last night.
That was absolutely tremendous. Good for him. Got a lot of good quality face time. He did some stuff with John Cena, which was hilarious. He did stuff with Kofi Kingston. I mean, you know what? That kid works hard. There's no question about it. I mean, the bump he took from Sheamus, that pie face, that was stiff.
He's on the ropes and he's pointing to his watch.
Well done.
It was well done.
And you know what the other thing is? Look at John Morrison.
That move last night was one of the best moves in Royal Rumble history.
Do you think John Morrison and Melina play Twister together? I mean, those two can do some amazing things.
Possibly.
My God. Imagine that.
Let's continue on the phone. Speak to Sean in Vermont. Sean, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report. Hit it.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
It's an honor to talk to you guys. I called in about a year ago, but I'm really glad I got the chance to call in tonight. I've been listening to you guys since 2004.
Appreciate it.
I just wanted to mention two things really quickly. One, about the whole debate that Damian and David Hero are having about which title is more important, whether the world title or the WWE title is more important. And I think they're both right and they're both wrong. I think that in the legacy of the wrestling business, I think the world heavyweight title is more important. But I think in the eyes of the casual viewer, the WWE title is more important.
Yes, I would have to agree with you on that. Absolutely.
And I don't like the way that the WWE is taking the importance off the world heavyweight title. And quite frankly, I've never been a fan of the way the WWE title looks anyway after John Cena changed it.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
I think they need to go back to when it's not on John Cena, they need to go back to what it was before it was on John Cena.
I will say this, though. I do like it better than what Ken Anderson is wearing right now.
Oh, totally.
I feel bad for Ken walking around with that belt.
Sean, thanks a lot for the phone call. We will continue. Tillman with a head nod. We continue. Let's speak to Joe in Oak Forest, Illinois.
Joe Mama?
You're on the
guys.
Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, just want to say that I'm a first-time caller, so, I mean, as soon as I heard that Shane Helms is going to be on, I really wanted to hear him. And
You'll be on in a good 10 minutes.
Real quick, the only question I really wanted to address is, obviously we know WWE is the head honcho within the wrestling business, and TNA is making their run to improve. And my thing is this: where do you guys see ROH coming within the next year or two? Do you think that they could possibly, in the next year or two, compete with being, say, the TNA or even WWE down the road within a couple of years?
I think Ring of Honor has a bunch of talented athletes, some great wrestlers. The one thing that's gonna keep Ring of Honor, behind the eight ball is just their lack of funds. I don't think that they have enough money to compete with TNA. They definitely don't have enough money to compete with the WWE, but you already knew that. So,
thanks a lot for the call, Joe. We will continue. It's Christopher in New York. Christopher, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, I'm a huge fan.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, my only question is, I'm happy that Del Rio won, but didn't it seem obvious that he was going after Edge?
Well, he had to go after Edge because Miz tossed out John Cena, so that's where their big money match is going to be. But I think Del Rio and Edge can have a pretty solid match. I think that Del Rio has a better match with Edge than he would with.
They have a couple months here to build that, and I think it's big time potential.
And I have another comment.
Okay.
I really hate that Jerry Lawler became the number one contender. That takes the whole feel away from the Elimination Chamber.
Well, but he's one of going to be 7 guys in the chamber, so it's not terrible. I mean, you know what? It's great for Jerry Lawler. You know what? God bless him that he's getting what he's getting right now. But once again, they're doing it simply because who else are they going to put in there with The Miz right now? I mean, I've had this argument with a lot of different people, and the fact is,
there really isn't.
There really isn't. Because the Miz,
I know it sounds strange on the surface, but there really isn't.
The Miz isn't beating anybody. I mean, yeah, sure, he beat Randy Orton, but how did he beat Randy Orton? With a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
He has yet to beat anybody clean. So, if he's going to keep getting all these screw job finishes, well, then don't waste them on guys like Kofi Kingston and John Morrison and, Daniel Bryan Danielson.
Absolutely. Let's take one more before the break and speak to James in, I'm going to guess it's Houston. James, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Good evening, gentlemen. How's the MKE treating you guys?
Absolutely
a little
tremendous.
Snowy, but good.
Frank, we live in Milwaukee.
Okay.
What do you expect?
I know.
I got a question for Hero. Okay, you were talking about how the Miz, he hasn't been getting any clean finishes or blah blah blah.
Right.
When your boy Sheamus was the champ, did he get any clean finishes?
I don't remember to be. I'm sure he didn't, but I'm just saying. But here's the difference. Sheamus is a big monster who, by looking at him, you would think he could pretty much beat anybody in a fight.
Right.
The fact is, with the Miz, you see frat boy, okay, and he's not believable as a champion.
Okay, but do you think that the thing with him and A-Rod kind of makes, that's why he needs A-Rod for that additional heat, because he doesn't have that big build like a Sheamus?
Right, exactly. But keep in mind, Sheamus also was beating guys like Santino. Not that Santino's a main eventer, but he was pinning certain guys on that brand, whereas The Miz has just been stuck with Jerry Lawler ever since he won the title.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And a couple other things that I wanted to add real quick.
Okay.
I remember people were talking about how, where's the money going to be in the buy rates for WrestleMania. I totally think that if they, have like a Diesel, a Booker T, and Sting in there, they can get their buy rates there no matter who they pin them up with. So,
and the interesting thing is that here's what I think Sting's going to be at WrestleMania. Because Diamond Dallas Page is hosting the new WCW, I believe it's Best of DVD,
right?
Of all the Nitros. So why wouldn't they want to bring in some of the biggest stars from WCW?
Marketing
Diamond
101.
Dallas Page, Kevin Nash, Booker T, and then have Sting. It's a slam dunk. Sting needs to be at WrestleMania, and I honestly believe he's going to be there now.
Yeah, and I think that last night, though, with all the moments that everybody just had with Booker T and Diesel, I think that just proved that that there's still money in the Legends, absolutely, and they need to just book them for WrestleMania and just, try and have a good little, programs with a couple of them. So.
Absolutely.
James, thanks a lot for the phone call.
When I was watching the Rumble, and I saw Kevin Nash stand in the ring next to Sheamus, next to Drew McIntyre, next to all these young studs that Vinnie Mac has been developing,
yep,
they still look like boys.
They do.
You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting.
And that's the difference in wrestling today than it was 10 years ago. You had guys like The Rock, you had Vader, you had Steve Austin, you had Mick Foley, you had Yoko's. You had men in the locker room. Now most of the guys today, extremely talented, but they're all like in their mid to upper 20s.
Now, Kevin did say if he had a match at WrestleMania, he could do the show, which I have a feeling it might be leaning that way, but it's just a guess on my part. Who would you like to see if Kevin Nash does have that opportunity? Who would you like to see him in a match with?
I think his best match would be with Wade Barrett, or because Barrett's a big guy, he could gain a lot from working with Kevin Nash, and that for me that's who I would pick, Wade Barrett.
When we come back, Shane Helms will join us. He's had some interesting...
This is going to be interesting with Hurricane Helms.
Yeah. This should be pretty good. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on in his world, and later on we'll take your phone calls. We're broadcasting live for the Time Warner Cable Studios. Beautiful downtown Milwaukee. You're listening to the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
Men, are you thinking about the health of your prostate? Recently, New Vitality Health Products gave away thousands of free bottles of the supplement Beta Prostate. Due to incredible demand, they're giving away more free bottles of Beta Prostate to any new customers who call now. Beta Prostate is packed with plant sterols that support your prostate health. Remember, your prostate affects urine flow, sleeping habits, intimacy, and overall quality of life. Beta Prostate is so powerful, you'd have to take 100 salt palmetto capsules in order to get the same natural plant sterols as one Beta Prostate. And if you haven't tried Beta Prostate yet, you can call right now for a free bottle. You only pay shipping and handling. Call 1-800-747-0319. This offer is limited to one free bottle per household. Give your body nutrition that targets the prostate. Call now and try Beta Prostate for free. Call 1-800-747-0319. That's 1-800-747-0319. 1-800-747-0319.
Money talks, and it sounds just like Jim Cramer.
I'm Kramer. Money talks, and sometimes it shouts when the results speak for themselves.
Investors worldwide follow Jim Cramer's advice on TV, in books, and on websites like TheStreet.com. And whether the market's up, down, or sideways, Jim's always hunting down a bull market. And now you can follow Cramer's portfolio at GetCramer.com.
Okay, here's how it works. Every time I buy or sell, I will email you ahead of time. Did you hear me? Ahead of time. It's like, if you can read my mind. My portfolio, fueled by my great research, is designed to deliver success, and I'll share it with you at GetCramer.com.
Today, you can sign up for 2 weeks of free access to Cramer's Picks and Portfolio. Just go to GetCramer.com and enter code word RADIO. GetCramer.com, free today. Go to GetCramer.com, code word RADIO.
Do you know why so many people have trouble learning new languages? Because they make the mistake of trying to learn it, when they should just absorb it. And right now, a free demo CD-ROM from Rosetta Stone will show you how. So stop memorizing, stop translating, and please stop doing drill after boring drill, because now you can unlock your hidden language learning potential with the world's fastest, easiest way to learn, Rosetta Stone. We don't want you to take our word for it. We don't even want you to listen to the U.S. diplomats, over 10,000 schools, or NASA, who all believe in our program. We just hope you'll accept our free demo so you can experience the power of Rosetta Stone for yourself. Discover the secret to learning a language faster than you ever imagined. For your free demo, call 1-800-336-2116. Don't try to learn a language. Just absorb it. Call 1-800-336-2116. That's 1-800-336-2116.
What if I said you could erase your wrinkles, tighten your skin, and make frown lines disappear from view, all without surgery or injections? With all the creams you've tried, you're probably skeptical. So I'm going to prove it to you by sending you a free trial of a scientific breakthrough called hydroxytone. Shed years from your appearance faster than you ever thought possible.
I looked at her and I was just, wow, she looked so young. I told her I couldn't believe how smooth her face looked. She's lost, 10 years at least?
Request your risk-free trial of this proven breakthrough today. The results are so impressive, hydroxytone was given away in VIP gift bags at international film festivals.
She always looked good to me, but now I can't believe how young she looks.
Call now for your free trial of hydroxytone. For a limited time, try it before you buy it. 1-800-400-4601. But hurry, when this offer's gone, it's gone. Call 1-800-400-4601. 1-800-400-4601.
Listen to Jason Wilde during Homer and the D-List weekdays on 540 ESPN.
Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. The Hall of Famer Dave Hero, along here with the Cause, and special guest on the Time Warner Cable phone line, wrestling superstar Shane Helms. Shane, good evening.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you guys doing? Thanks for having me back.
Hey, Shane, anytime, my man, anytime. We definitely got the dump button ready for you here because last time Tillman got a little bit nervous, but I'm confident everything is going to go just fine. Yeah, but last time we had John, it was right before Blizzard Brawl, and we said we got to bring it back on. And since then, you've been one of the more controversial guys on, not in wrestling, but even in Twitter. And one of the big things that's been a lot of the buzz lately has been the comments about you and Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. And, a few weeks ago, I went on Twitter and I was, talking about how too many of the fans take advantage of, with what they say to the superstars and other people, how they can hide behind a keyboard or a cell phone or whatever. And I caught some flack because they're like, well, your buddy Shane Helms, he goes on there and talks about Shawn Michaels. And one of the things that I tried to explain is that you and Shawn Michaels had a relationship, or have one, and you guys work together and know each other, which is a little bit different than Wrestling Mark 316 on Twitter, sitting there and saying that you guys are no good, you suck, whatever else, you're a jobber, the whole thing. Why don't you give your take on the whole thing with Shawn Michaels and how you felt that since you have worked with him professionally and you know him personally, why you did what you did on Twitter?
Well, it actually started on my Highway to Helms show. That's just a talk show I do, video talk show I do on Wednesday nights. And
one of the hottest shows also on Wednesday nights.
Yep. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And it just came up. Was there somebody I didn't like there? And I just answered a lot of questions. So it wasn't like I went out of my way to bring this up. The question was presented to me, and I answered honestly. And it's not controversial to me. I don't think. I just told the truth. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like I'm not making anything up. I'll stand behind every single thing I said. In regards to what you say, yeah, it is weird. Like he's got a lot of faithful fans, and that's cool. But I don't understand how somebody could take somebody else's side that they don't know over somebody else they don't know about a situation they don't know.
Exactly. Right. Mm-hmm.
Because it has nothing to do. I'll sit there and tell you all day long he's a great wrestler. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got absolutely to do with that. And so many of his fans can't disconnect the two. They seem to have a problem disconnecting that.
Yeah, they can't.
Maybe they're just not smart or something. I don't know, but I'm not talking about wrestling. I'm talking about I know the guy personally. I am saying nothing new. That's the most amazing thing to me. I'm not saying anything new. Everything I'm saying about Shawn has been said before, and this is even after his so-called salvation.
And it's been well documented. He's even admitted that he was that guy. And the problem is some wrestling fans they just know the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. They don't know Michael Hickenbottom. It's two different people.
Maybe that's what made my error. Maybe I shouldn't have said my problem is with Shawn Michaels. Maybe my problem is with Michael Hickenbottom. Maybe that's where, in retrospect, I could have did that. But everybody calls me Hurricane. Backstage, I call him Shawn Michaels. That's what I meant.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing. I ain't gonna hate the guy for the rest of his life. I hope he lives a long, successful life. But this is a guy that went out of his way to do me wrong for no reason whatsoever. And this is after his salvation. That's what I want people to know. Because they keep saying he's a changed man. I'm saying, no, it's not. Mm-hmm. This is after his so-called change. He did it to me. He did it to Ken Anderson. He tried to do it to Kurt Angle. He tried to do it to this guy, that guy, and that and the other. And it's the same over and over. And just because you're a great wrestler, that doesn't give you the right to be a bad person. Right. That's what I hate. I hate people justifying and say, yeah, but he's a great wrestler. Like, yeah, okay, does that mean it's okay to be the biggest ass in the world?
Mm-hmm.
If he's so great, why don't he just rely on being a wrestler? I don't know.
Talk a little bit about then the challenge that you have to take the wrestling aspect of it from the realism to it to some of the fans that are out there.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because there are a lot of fans that are like, no, Shane, we see Shawn Michaels on TV. He's that way. So you're trying your best to say, I know what's going on. I've seen him in the backstage. I know what it's like when the cameras are off. Do you find that there's a challenge there to tell your fans, guys, this is the way it is. I'm being honest with you?
Well, I guess it is a challenge because of the mystique of pro wrestling. There's so many people that think, unless you're just a total gimmick character like the Hurricane might have been, I hope there are people out there that didn't think I really was flying or that I really had superpowers. But maybe there are. But, Shawn Michaels is a character. And, the biggest thing that bothered me was, not the biggest thing that bothered me was the way he treated me, but other than that, I hate the fact that he uses religion as a crutch to get himself over. To me, he's nothing more than Jimmy Baker or Oral Roberts, one of those guys. Mm-hmm. And if people are following him because of the religion thing, mm-hmm. then they're the ones that are being fooled. And I think that's bad. And that's just a personal opinion. I think that's bad.
Well, you go from Shawn Michaels and what he's done, and now he's going into the Hall of Fame this year. And I think that's pretty much what put your comments, under the spotlight. It's like, oh my God, how can Hurricane Helms, criticize the almighty Shawn Michaels? And once again, we've said it a bunch of times. It's not that you didn't say he wasn't a good wrestler, a good performer. You had a personal relationship with the guy where you weren't treated fairly, and it has nothing to do with his in-ring skill, his Hall of Fame abilities. It's just him as a person, as a man. And the reason I felt that, you could say what you wanted to is because you said it from you. You weren't hiding behind a computer. You didn't have a fake name. It's, you were saying it as a man to a man, saying, hey, you know what, I didn't like what you did. I didn't appreciate it, so on and so forth. And that's where I think, as amazing as Twitter and Facebook and MySpace and, all these other, gimmicks that are out there, is that sometimes the fans take liberties and they take advantage of these social media sites.
Well, totally. You can always see it. Some celebrities are already leaving Twitter because they're just tired of hearing flack from people. So, as long as there's no accountability, I got pretty thick skin. Mm-hmm. So I'll just block stuff. People that I don't know, I'll just block them. A lot of guys use Twitter as some kind of popularity scale. How many followers they got determines whether they're over or not. I don't care. People that follow me are the ones that like me.
Right.
If you don't like me, then don't follow me, and I'll be totally happy with that.
There's an unfollow button right next to the follow button. If you don't like it, just unfollow.
If you don't like me, unfollow. And if I don't like you, I promise you, I'll block.
Mm-hmm. Shane, if you were able to meet Shawn Michaels and he said, Shane, I want to talk to you, what would you tell him?
If he wanted to talk to me, if he could explain why he did those things, I'm a big man. I've made mistakes, and I've apologized for them. If he could just say, I'm sorry for what I did, I don't know why I did it, then okay, that's fine. I don't hate the guy. Mm-hmm. I dislike the way he treated me. I wish I would have handled it in WWE, but you can't. Anybody that says anything against Shawn Michaels gets fired immediately. That's just how it is. Mm-hmm. And if you don't believe that, you've got no idea how WWE runs. Mm-hmm. Once that Montreal screw job happened, Shawn was set for life in WWE. No matter what happened after that.
Yeah, because he had all the answers, didn't he?
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like I can't believe if somebody will do something like the Montreal screw job in front of millions. If he'll do that in front of millions and not care, what do you think he'll do behind closed doors?
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Well,
I don't know. So, but like I said, I don't. Anytime I get mad in real life, I'm mad, and 10 minutes later, I could care less what I'm even mad about. So, I'm not that type of guy that if I see him, I'd want to kick his ass or nothing. If he came up and explained it in any way that sounded rational to me, then I would believe that. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if I believe it, but I'll take it, and I'll be fine. But
you at least listen to him, right?
But I doubt he's going to say anything. Guilty people don't usually get on the stand if they don't have to. There's nothing I've said that wasn't true.
All right.
We're talking with Shane Helms on the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Shane, let's go a different direction at the moment. Let's talk about what you're doing right now.
Shane Helms did have a contract signing.
He did?
Recently, yes. And why don't you tell us more about that with Lucha Libre?
Yeah, I signed with Lucha Libre USA, which is going to be on MTV2. I actually went and filmed a couple episodes last week. I think it was last week or the week before in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Mm-hmm. And man, it's a great locker room. There's a lot of talented guys. The atmosphere was great, and I think I definitely made the right choice by going there.
Now, who can we all see in Lucha Libre?
One of the main stars down there is he used to wrestle in WWE and WCW as more Jindrak, but now he's Marco Corleone.
Okay, sure.
And he is a huge star in Mexico.
I've seen him on the cover of the magazines down there.
Yeah, he's on everything. He's like he's in all this like sexiest men in the country stuff, and just he's everywhere. So he's like a big star there, and he's I got an association with him. We've been friends since WCW days, so that's pretty good. Pretty good friend to have down there. And,
absolutely.
A lot of the luchadors, Liz Mark Jr. Is the champion, and they just had Tranisha. She was Raka Khan.
Sure. Kurt Angle's ex.
Yeah, Kurt Angle's ex.
Be careful of her. Now, be careful. She's trouble, from what I've been hearing.
I don't know. She's always been.
Mm-hmm. For the fans that haven't seen Lucha Libre, talk a little bit about what they will be seeing once you're in the ring.
Well, they're going to be seeing the Lucha Libre style, but because it's Lucha Libre USA, I think they're going to try to combine Lucha Libre with an American style. Lucha Libre is a fascinating, act. If you watch Rey Mysterio, it'd be like Rey Mysterio without handcuffs.
Gotcha.
They try, but that kind of style just hasn't ever really picked up in America as much. That's why Rey Mysterio did, because he took a Lucha Libre style and put an American flavor to it.
Gotcha.
And that's the best example I can give you.
Now,
that's what they're trying to do with the whole show. Just make it so that the American fans, the United States of America fans, understand it, and that the Lucha Libre fans still, they feel that this is part of something they've created.
And do they have a target date yet for this on MTV too?
Like I said, that was my first appearance down there, so I haven't really gotten any business aspect of that. But I'm assuming it's like March or April or something like that, I'm guessing.
Gotcha. Very cool. And, of course, you stay busy with Highway to Helms every Wednesday night you mentioned.
Yeah, every Wednesday night. We do it 7 p.m. East Coast time, so I guess that would be 6 p.m. you guys' time?
Yep, 6 o'clock here in Milwaukee. And it's actually been one of the more popular and, at times, controversial shows out there.
Yeah,
you got the waitress.
I try to bring, in different guests every week if I can. Try to help out some independent talent, independent wrestling talent.
Mm-hmm.
Also got some up-and-coming MMA guys that are going to be coming on my show soon. I got a boxer that's an up-and-coming undefeated boxer. I'm going to have him on the show. I'm trying to go out of my way to help people. I want to bring people on my show that I could do something for.
Mm-hmm.
I got some country music artists that I brought on the show a couple of weeks ago, and they're very super talented. And it's just, I don't know. I want to have fun with it. If I ain't having fun with it, it'll go off. And I have to say, it won't be on this Wednesday. As Wednesday morning, I got to fly to Tokyo. I got another appearance for the Antonio Inoki Genome Federation, IGF. So,
fantastic!
I just came from California yesterday, and so I'm all trying to recover. In 2 days, I got to fly back to Tokyo.
Pretty good frequent flyer miles there you got going.
Now, you were over in Japan back in December.
Yep.
And how does wrestling in Japan compare to wrestling here in the States?
It's different because every time I went over there before it was always with WWE, so it was kind of an Americanized version because they wanted an American style because they watch. But a traditional Japanese audience, man, they're very subdued, they're very quiet, and they watch. They just, they're very respectful, super respectful culture, and they watch, and they see something good, they get loud, and then they're like deadly quiet again. The IGF is a really unique company, though. It's got pro wrestling, it's got MMA kind of mixed in. Mark Coleman's on the show. This is the company that Kimbo Slice is going to start working for.
Yeah.
And it was rumored that he was going to be on this show, and I'm not sure because then I heard another rumor that it was going to be on the following show. So I don't know. My last show I teamed with Bobby Lashley, and we wrestled two guys, and I had a great time over there. Tokyo is one of my favorite cities in the world, anyway.
And of course, they love their superheroes as well, don't they?
Yeah, but I'm wrestling without the mask this time. Actually, I haven't decided on that. I wrestle without the mask in Albuquerque, with Lucha Libre USA, but I'm thinking about just kind of going forward that direction. So I don't know. We'll see. See how I feel that day. If I'm feeling ugly, I'll put the mask on.
You mentioned that you were in Tokyo, California. You had the grueling schedule when you were with WWE. Do you kind of feel relaxed now you don't have that as much?
Well, even worse than this, the last time I was in Japan was right before Blizzard Brawl, and my schedule was as this. I was in Tokyo on Friday night, I was in Milwaukee on Saturday night, and Charleston, South Carolina on Sunday.
Yeah, that's living the dream. That's living the dream. No question about that.
Yeah, so and when I
and you had a broken tooth.
Came and picked me up from Charleston and a couple friends, and when I got home Monday, I was a zombie until at least Friday.
And you had the broken tooth, right?
Say again? No, I didn't have a broken tooth. I had bit my tongue.
Oh, that's
really bad.
Yeah.
And I should have went. It was so bad I should have went and got stitches. But I was in Tokyo and I was like, man, like my options were to go get stitches or go down to Roppongi and have a drink. And me being the intelligent guy that I am, I said, the last place I want to be in Japan is in this hospital. And it was so bad I couldn't hardly talk and stuff, but.
Well, sometimes the drink is better than the stitches. There's no question about that.
That's exactly what they did. They would have gave me something to numb it and try to disinfect it or whatever, and they would have stitched it up, but I didn't care. I was all right.
Well, we can always follow Shane Helms on Twitter, at ShaneHelmsCom, and then also Highway to Helms also. And what is the website for Highway to Helms? Obviously, you won't be on this Wednesday, but going forward.
Well, all the information you need is on ShaneHelms.com. That's my website, and that's why my Twitter is ShaneHelmsCom. Now, Highway to Helms stuff is right on there. My Twitter feed's actually right on there. My appearances for where I'm going to be, and it's just stacked. I know I'm coming back up your way at some point in time. But, yeah, ShaneHelms.com is where everything is. Twitter too is at ShaneHelmsCom. I guess you couldn't put a dot in there or people would freak out.
Gotcha.
Well, Shane, we appreciate your time this evening, continued success, and we hope to talk to you down the road.
All right, thanks, man. You guys have been cool.
All right, thanks, Shane. Take care.
Shane Helms on the Pro Wrestling Report. We will be back with your phone calls and much, much more. We're broadcasting live for the Time Warner Cable Studios. the snowy downtown Milwaukee. You're listening to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN. Important medical alert to Avandia users. The diabetes drug Avandia has been linked to serious heart-related injury and even death. If you or a loved one used Avandia and suffered a heart attack, heart failure, stroke, or heart-related death, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Recent congressional reports and FDA studies have found an increased risk of heart attacks and heart failure in patients using the drug Avandia. Time is limited to file a claim. Don't wait. Submit your claim today. Call 1-800-733-5340. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call now for your free consultation. 1-800-733-5340. That's 1-800-733-5340. Find out your legal rights today. Time is limited to file a claim. Call 1-800-733-5340. The attorney responsible for this advertisement is Carrie L. Steigerwald, Steigerwald & Associates, admitted in California. Principal office is 3636 Nobel Drive, Suite 350, San Diego, California, 92122. Cases may be handled by or referred to local counsel.
If you had purchased gold 2 years ago, you would have seen a $10,000 investment be worth over $18,000 today. And the good news is that gold continues to be at only 40% of its previous high in 1980, considering inflation. And some experts predict gold could reach as high as $2,000 an ounce, which means investors could potentially turn a $10,000 investment into over $20,000. Now, every investment has risks, and past performance does not guarantee future returns. But you owe it to yourself to get a free consultation from the professionals at Blanchard. For over 30 years, Blanchard has helped people invest wisely in gold. In fact, Blanchard even gives you a buyback guarantee. So call for a free, no-obligation consultation on the coins that are positioned right now to give you solid returns. Gold American Eagles are guaranteed by the U.S. government for weight and purity, and Blanchard has an attractive radio offer for those who call today. So call 888-730-GOLD. That's 888-730-GOLD. Don't wait. Call 888-730-GOLD. 888-730-GOLD.
Provider and licensing details are available.
If this is your paycheck and this is your debt, what are your options? File bankruptcy and tread water the next 7 years? Or make a call for Care One Credit Counseling Services and start getting out of debt today. A Care One Credit Counseling Agency can help you get immediate relief from stress caused by debt, and you'll have one lower monthly payment instead of the pile you have right now. Call a Care One agent today, and you can start saving hundreds of dollars in fees and interest payments. Care One agencies have helped over 4 million people get out of debt, and they can help you too. Call 800-910-9185, 800-910-9185, and find out how you can lower your monthly payments up to 57%. One 15-minute phone call can change your life. Call 800-910-9185, 800-910-9185.
If your credit card debt has gotten out of control, if you're over your head at monthly payments, here's one powerful secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. You have the right to settle your credit card debt for a fraction of what you owe, allowing you to cut your debt up to half or more. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Consumer Debt Advocate, and we'd like to offer you a free consultation that will help you start eliminating credit card debt. For your free consultation that will set you free, call 1-800-983-5979. Don't ruin your credit by declaring bankruptcy. Settle your debt and move on with your life. During your free consultation, you'll find out what the credit card companies don't want you to know. For your free consultation that will help you settle your credit card debt for a fraction of what you owe, call today. The number is 1-800-983-5979. 1-800-983-5979.
Listen to interviews at ESPNMilwaukee.com. Subscribe to a podcast of all the interviews from your favorite shows. Plus, pause record and will be at ESPNMilwaukee.com. Podcasting on ESPNMilwaukee.com is brought to you by 540 ESPN.
Final segment, the Pro Wrestling Report, 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. We'll be on again next Monday evening, 10 p.m. Central.
It's going to be a big show next Monday.
Be a very big show.
Raw's in Milwaukee Monday.
That is correct.
After the Super Bowl. Packers.
That is correct. So check the schedule for upcoming guests and such on PWRshow.com. Also, again,
two pretty awesome guests tonight.
Absolutely. On-demand TV episodes, the radio broadcast on demand, the verified wrestling news. Again, the latest, basically in the world of wrestling, you can find at PWRshow.com.
And let's not forget, follow our guest, Kevin Nash, on Twitter, at RealKevinNash, and Shane Helms, at ShaneHelmsCom.
That's right.
And, of course, us at PWR Show.
Absolutely. And we still have time for a couple of calls if you want to call in at 800-990-3776, locally in Milwaukee, 414-276-3776. Keep them quick. Let's go to the phones and speak to Will in New Jersey. Will, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hello, gentlemen. How you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Rumor has it you were at the Rumble last night.
That is indeed correct. I drove 5 hours to go to the Rumble, and it was worth every 5 hours there and 8 hours back.
8 hours back? Did you get lost?
New York City.
Yeah.
So the crowd was amazing last night. It's again a pro wrestling crowd. You know, they'll mark out for anything huge, and last night was really great. I think Booker T actually got a higher response than Diesel did, actually, from where I was at.
Mm-hmm. It was a packed house, right?
Oh, it was sold out. Absolutely.
Cool.
You know, it was a wonderful crowd. I think the crowd really enjoyed it. It was worth every money you paid for it. It's one of the best Rumbles, especially with some of the mark-out moments with Morrison and Santino at the end was probably my biggest mark-out moment of the whole night. That was
was
unexpected.
You know, you knew Santino wasn't going to win, but just that
it gave you a little.
What's great is the Cobra is so over that they use it to finish up the Royal Rumble.
And he seemed emotional at that moment. I think that crowd really
good. Yeah.
The crowd really got to him.
Yeah, the crowd was just like pro Santino because he was down there for a long time, and we could obviously see him down there, but I guess on TV I don't know if they showed him or not, but we were just waiting for that moment for him to get up. And one question I wanted to ask was, do you think it was a little bit of a mistake not to have Nexus throughout the entire Rumble? That was just one thing that I was a little disappointed that the core was like not really as powerful as Nexus was, and Nexus didn't stay in as long as I was hoping they would. Because I thought that kind of killed it off.
They had 40 guys to book in that thing, which isn't easy. And you know what? They did show the strength of Nexus for quite a while. I would have liked to have seen the Nexus and the core be in there in the end.
Right.
But, I mean, obviously, they couldn't because they went in the direction of Del Rio. I mean, if they're going in the direction of, let's say, Randy Orton or John Cena, then Nexus would have been in there in the end. But they went with the heel going over.
Thanks a lot for the phone call, Will. One more call before the end of the evening, and let's talk to dashingly awesome Bowman. Bowman, you're on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much, man.
You know what? This reminds me, with Bowman calling in.
Yep.
Where was Cody Rhodes?
Who knows?
You know what I'm saying?
They
talked
about
I've been busy.
he was busy.
But you know what?
I was at the Royal Rumble and Monday Night Raw. So.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you think?
The Royal Rumble was good. I think it was entertaining. But like I was saying, I think I talked to you on Twitter. Booker T, I think I probably got the biggest pop of the night.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Out of anybody. The whole show was entertaining. The Rumble match was good. It felt like I think they changed everything kind of probably that day because it was good until the last 10 minutes of that, and I think they poorly booked the way Del Rio got over. I think the ending should have been should have been Cena versus Del Rio, and then Miz does his spot. I think that would have created more heat for Miz and would have given that huge.
They had to get over Del Rio as the star, and by them having Miz throw out Cena, so Del Rio wins, then all the heat's off Del Rio and it's all on Miz.
Yeah, Miz is the more important guy because he's awesome.
Well, for some people he might be.
But overall, shows were good. I mean, Raw tonight, it was okay. It was fun to watch live. The dance contest, that fuck lost.
Yeah.
But other than that, the Rumble match was interesting. I'm actually honestly interested in Jerry Lawler. He got a huge pop.
He
honestly did.
He still does. And thanks a lot for the phone call, Bowman. Were you kind of surprised by Lawler winning?
Well, when they put him in there, why wouldn't they have him win? I mean, otherwise, how else do you put Jerry Lawler in the chamber match?
Right.
I mean, the other guys that were there, I mean, Punk will be in there, Sheamus will be in there, Cena will be in there, John Morrison will be in there. Ron Killings will not be in the chamber match. Everybody else will be.
What are your thoughts? This is my opinion. I never liked this pay-per-view before WrestleMania. Never been a fan of this, and obviously the buy rates probably keep it that way, that they're going to continue to do it. I've never been a fan of a pay-per-view before the WrestleMania like this. I kind of like the idea. But
there isn't. The whole month of March, there is not one pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying?
That's true, but to me, I would rather not have one. Just continue to build.
There isn't one, Frank. After the 20th of February, there isn't a pay-per-view until WrestleMania. So you got like a month.
Right.
I
just wouldn't have one. Period.
From now until Mania.
Right.
Oh, you got to. That's where the money is.
Well, obviously it's working. In my opinion, I wish they wouldn't have one between the Rumble and.
You know what they say about opinions? Ask Ken Anderson.
Exactly. Fantastic show this evening. We want to thank Shane Helms.
I want to thank Damian for not even being here tonight.
Well, I'm sure he would have done just fine.
Mr. Host of the Year. I want to see his award. You know what I'm saying? He keeps saying he wants to see my Hall of Famer plaque. I want to see his award.
Maybe he'll bring it. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank Shane Helms for joining us. I want to thank Kevin Nash. Diesel for joining us also. I want to thank all the phone calls tonight. And again, pwrshow.com. Head over there tonight. Take a look at all the wrestling news, the verified news. Take a look at the marketplace there. Get your T-shirts, tremendous shirts, the Thanks Pal shirts, the DHHS shirts. A lot of great information on the website. Again, follow us on Twitter, on Facebook. And again, primetime coming up this weekend.
This Friday. And hey, you know what? If you didn't get your seat for the WrestleMania suite, you're out of luck. We're sold out, amigo.
We're sold out. For the Hall of Famer, David Hero, gentleman behind the glass, doing a fantastic job on the cause. We'll do this again next Monday. Listen to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, ESPNMilwaukee.com. Stay safe out there.